John Pesutto says he's open to installing quotas to increasing female representation in the Victorian Liberal Party as the new opposition leader promises to not focus on personalities. Let's go to our Victorian political reporter, Simon Love. Simon, how close was the vote there?
So the ballot in the Liberal Party room this morning was 17 votes to 16, just one vote separating John Pesutto from Brad Batten, and the Liberal moderate who has come back to Parliament after being tossed out as the member for Hawthorn in 2018 and regaining his seat from Labor in the most recent state election. He says that he will adopt a more conciliatory and consultative approach as opposition leader, particularly with his MPs. And he says that he doesn't want to focus too much on personalities within the government, but the government's overall performance as a whole. But the new Liberal leadership team is still 50% what it was before, with David Southwick re-elected Deputy Leader in the lower house, and in the upper house, Georgie Crozier securing a promotion to become the leader there, while Matt Bark will be the Deputy Leader in the Legislative Council. But let's have a listen firstly to John Pesutto, firstly saying, and when he was asked about how the party could increase representation for women, he gave an indication that casual vacancies could be set aside for women, but also on the topic of quotas, this is what he had to say.
We want and need more female representatives representing the Liberal Party in the Victorian Parliament.
And as for the style of his leadership and not going specifically after the Premier Daniel Andrews, unlike how Matthew Guy did so much in the campaign, this was his response.
I'm not really focusing on who will be head of the government, to be honest. I'm more concerned about how is the government performing. For me, it won't be so much about personalities. The next 4 years for me and my colleagues is going to be about policy, outcomes. What are Victorians getting?
What was a bit of a surprise was the election of David Southwick, or the re-election of him to Deputy Leader, given that he didn't declare his candidacy publicly in the days before. There were 4 other candidates for that vote, and ultimately they were all knocked out, and it was whittled down to a final vote between David Southwick and Ryan Smith, which Southwick won 19 votes to 14. And he says there's a huge task ahead for the Liberals.
We've got a big job to do, and this is day one of the rebuild. It's time we get our Bob the Builder hat on and start rebuilding Victoria and rebuilding the Liberal Party.
And a footnote here, Matthew Guy, the former opposition leader, keen to get on with it and not comment at all on his way to the party room. How are you, Matthew? Where did it all go wrong for the party? How are you feeling about your final day as leader? So it looks like for now he'll remain the member for Bulleen as John Pesutto confirms his shadow cabinet. He'll be talking to Matthew Guy about a potential shadow cabinet position. But one thing, interestingly, Kieran, is that John Pesutto said that newcomers to the party, including the former tennis ace Sam Groth and Jess Wilson, Josh Frydenberg's former staffer who's won the seat of Kew, well, they might be offered senior positions in the shadow cabinet. So clearly a sign there that John Pesutto wants to renew the Liberal Party.
Yep, you could do worse than those two, that's for sure. Simon, thank you.